Buckle up for another episode of Ghost Facers, a supernatural rewatch podcast. My name is Richard, and sitting shotgun, as always, is my brother in podcasting, Reed.
Hello, boys.
Oh, hi. Crowley, what are you doing here?
I'm back again for a little, barely an adventure.
Yeah, not a lot happens in this episode, but I think we have a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, we've got a lot of time to waste on it, too, so let's go.
Cool, let's get into it.
Ghost Facers! We visit ghosts, when others were not, we're ghosts! Ghost Facers! Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot! Ghost Facers! We visit nightmare, we visit dread! Ghost Facers! We visit faceless, we visit dead!
Welcome to Ghost Facers. Today we're discussing Season 5, Episode number 20.
Holy shit.
We're so close to the end.
I can't believe
We're
that we're
edging.
almost done the show.
Oh, no. Is what
It's
Eric
been a wild,
Kripke said.
It's been a wild ride, yeah.
That's right. Episode number 20. We are like 3 episodes from the finish.
That's right.
I can't believe it.
2 episodes from the finish. 1 episode from the finish. I was doing like ASMR.
Oh, I see. I didn't come across.
What, that wasn't sexy enough?
I mean, not personally.
Hmm.
Yeah, find other ways to do it for me.
You think I don't know what makes
What's the thing that you said the other day?
You said, do you think I don't know what makes my best friend come? Which is a deranged thing to say.
But what was the thing that you...
I couldn't tell
on
you.
TikTok, you said a different thing.
Oh, yeah. Here, give me a second.
No, I know what the original thing was.
I frequently say horrifying things.
But it was a play off of that based on a
Yeah.
TikTok, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, it was a clip from New Girl.
Oh, yeah, it's about Schmidt
how
wanting to see
yeah.
Jake's penis.
Yeah, he hasn't seen his penis, and I said, "You think I don't know what my best friend's penis looks like?"
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a threshold we haven't crossed yet.
yeah. And then I just,
But when we launch our Patreon...
oh my god, no.
No, they won't see it. You will.
Oh,
And then we'll talk about
they're
it.
gonna pay on the Patreon for me to see your. What is happening?
If you want, let us know. Hashtag
Good lord,
rich dick.
weird energy off the top.
I didn't sleep last night. My dog was having diarrhea all night long because of her anti-inflammatory medication, and I'm in a weird mood. So this is what we're dealing with today.
Woo!
Let's talk about The Devil You Know,
Oh
which is
my
the title
god!
of this episode. This episode aired April 29th, 2010. Written once again by Ben Edlund and directed by Robert Singer.
That's right.
The Dream Team, baby.
Well, we're getting to near the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually when the heavy hitters pop up
That's
to
right.
bring us home.
And then Eric Kripke, usually.
Yeah. Hey, can Dean slap a woman in the face just on the way out of this great episode?
Yeah. Can we reveal some sexual trauma and make light of it?
Yeah. Yeah, I need Dean to be like, oh, not in a gay way. It's me, Eric Kripke.
Yeah. This episode was viewed by an estimated... We're really just like hating. We're like by the end of the series, like hopefully we'll come back around, but...
I like the show. He made a good thing. It's just one of those things where he's a better ideas man than an execution man.
Yeah.
I think.
That's what we found out when he made Fuck Mountain.
Yeah, I'm an ideas man, Michael. I thought I proved that with Fuck Mountain.
This episode was viewed by an estimated 2.38 million viewers.
A little dip, but basically where we've been.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that I believe the promo for this week isn't too bad.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Yes, of course you will.
Here's the thing. Separated from what the episode's actually about, that's not a bad promo.
Yes.
they're like, oh, is Sam gonna go bad again or whatever? And like it's actually well like cut together.
They just took all the like peak moments.
The problem, but the problem is that those clips aren't at all what the episode's about. Basically,
a little bit about the Jess stuff, but yeah,
kind of, but barely.
Yeah.
Although, to their credit, this episode is
not really about anything.
It's kind of a weird one.
Yeah.
So to make anything out of it, like, they actually did a pretty good job.
This is what I think, because I'm like, the episode's kind of
Damn
about
it, I wanted to clown on it, but you're right. They pulled it off.
nothing.
They fucking did it.
Well, the episode's called The Devil You Know.
Yeah.
Many supernatural episodes share a title with a rock or metal song. The Devil You Know is one of these, with a small exception that it is the title of the album released by Heaven and Hell in April of 2009. Interestingly, Heaven and Hell vocalist Ronnie James Dio passed away merely 17 days after this episode's premiere.
No way.
Yeah.
He was like, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The purpose is
release me from this flesh prison.
Oh my God, he was a demon the whole time.
But it's also it's a phrase.
Yes.
It's better.
If there's two bad decisions, go with the one at least you know.
Better the devil you know.
Yes.
Yeah, where you understand the pitfalls or what, as opposed to something that's like unknown that could be potentially worse.
Yes. I'm assuming referring to Crowley a bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, we've got two. And I flipped.
International titles.
Yes. I flipped them a little bit. The usual ender is
Hungary's first?
Hungary is first.
Okay. So they probably played this a little coy.
It's a little bit coy, a little bit weird, but
okay. I'm gonna say it's
the vaguest.
Hey, do you know a demon?
It's the opposite of the title and the vaguest version of that.
You don't know this angel.
That's too specific.
Chris Angel.
That's too specific.
I don't know.
It's unfamiliar familiar.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, I see. I understand. I don't hate it.
No, it's not terrible.
I don't hate it. So
now,
wait, who's the last one? Is it Germany?
It's Germany. Now, I chose this not because it's a bad title or that it's crazy, but more the fact that who it's coming from.
From the Germans?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Is it called Just Following Orders?
You've used that one before. It's not coming up. I mean, it might actually. Who knows?
Okay. I don't know. What is it?
The German title is The Devil is in the Details.
Good Lord. Jesus, Germany, we get it. You thought a lot about how you were going to pull it off. Christ.
It's really not about the overall things that we did, but the very specific things within that we did.
Perhaps they were bad things, but at the very least, you must give us credit for the detail with which we executed. Oh, pun. The plan.
The trains always ran on time.
Italy. That's what they say about Mussolini.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what that makes me think of? I probably brought it up before, but there's that College Humor sketch where the one guy shows up and he's like, "Oh, my Peapod just died," and he goes, "But we were going through his things and I found this chest. It turns out, my Peapod was super into Wolfenstein.
Yes.
He keeps pulling out all this Nazi stuff, and the other people in the room are like, "Oh God!" And he's like, "I think my Peapod was like a developer or something. He's got like schematics, plans, diagrams. And they're like, this is inner circle stuff, man. He knew.
So funny."
I think my Peapod was the first guy to beat Wolfenstein. It says here he had a final solution.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
It's a great sketch. It's very funny.
So yeah, those are the international titles for this week's episode.
Yeah, Jesus. So sorry, the German one is The Devil's in the Details. I mean, it's true, but read the room, Germany.
I know. I was like, holy shit.
Good Lord. The German title this week, 1,000-Year Reich.
Yeah. Look, I was just following orders. The devil was in the details. I did not create the details. That was somebody
That's
else.
the bad thing.
Yes.
How could I be bad for merely following the plans that was carefully crafted?
By somebody else.
Yeah.
Who could say?
Yeah.
Poor German listeners. Like, we get it. I know.
No. Do you know what? You don't get to live it down, Germany.
I also think that they don't. Like, I think that that's like a very clear thing that they like.
I mean, if anything, we should be taking our example from Germany because they don't stop hunting Nazis. They keep finding like 93-year-olds and sending them to prison.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. If anything, we should be following more of that example.
We should be following their orders. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we should be following.
Germany's got some great ideas.
No.
This is how it happened.
It was the long con. They played the Uno reverse on us. Holy shit.
Have you seen those like TikToks where people like use those in like real life?
Yeah.
I just saw like an ad for like a version of it that is very specifically for like couples.
Oh, that's fun.
And it's like cards where it's like one of them, I think you'd really like this. Is one of them is where if your partner is eating something that you really want and you've ordered something you don't like, you just get to do like a I get that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But what if it was used against me?
Well, that's
the thing. I can't run that risk. The devil you know and all.
It's in the details. Featured music for this episode is one song, "The Man Upstairs" by K-Star. And TV Guide describes this episode as Sam and Dean are horrified when they learn of the Angels' new plans and the brothers take on Zachariah. Nope, that's not what it is at all. That's the...
Wow.
Oops.
Just do a quick scan ahead and tell me if you're play-by-play of
No, that's
episodes.
fine. I
Yeah,
spent
okay.
all morning doing that. I know for a fact that one is right, but everything is fine because I'm very specifically not like talking so that I can find it.
Well,
but
hey,
a demon named Crowley
put
offers
it
to
this
help.
way. This is proof that you're good because the devil is in the details.
Yay! I'm just not good at my job. A demon named Crowley offers to help Sam and Dean find the remaining Horseman rings so they can trap Lucifer. There we go. But before we talk about that episode, why don't we open up Dad's journal and learn about some of the real world lore?
Yeah, this is a weird one. But let's see what the lore says about Pestilence.
Whoa, but he's not in this episode.
Spoiler alert. Pestilence is in the next episode. But
Can I
there's
tell you something really stupid I just did?
a bigger thing we have to talk about next
Can I
episode.
tell you about something really stupid I just did? I pull off my glasses to clean my glasses.
Yeah.
And then I went to go blow on my glasses, but instead I blew on the mic. Because I was listening to you.
I am pretty captivated. Yeah, so a slightly weird one in that our kind of quote monster this week isn't in this episode, but the episode does kind of revolve around the hunt for Pestilence. We saw Pestilence at the end of last episode. He's on the brain, so that's what we're doing.
Must be pestilence on the brain.
Is that a song you're parodying?
Yeah, it's Rihanna's "Love on the Brain."
Oh, I don't know. Popular music.
A song from 10 years ago.
Yeah, popular music.
Yeah.
Who knows songs from now?
Me.
Oh, no. So let's see what the lore says about Pestilence. So in the Bible, the Pestilence horseman is actually the first horseman.
Hey.
Said to appear on a white horse. White horse?
Hey, that's where we are.
That's where we are, baby. Pestilence.
Yeah.
Welcome to Pestilence, Yukon.
We're disgusting.
Yeah.
Don't come
Ooh.
here.
So the interpretation of this horseman is a little muddy. And according to biblical text, it's actually a different form of war. We sort of talked about this when we talked about war. Is that
good God.
what is it good for?
Killing people.
We sort of talked about this all the way back on episode 2 of this season.
Yeah.
So here's the actual quote from the Bible. So, then I saw when the Lamb broke one of the 7 seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures saying, as with a voice of thunder, "Come."
Nice.
I looked, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. Now, you'll notice nothing about that
No, speaks to like
disease,
no, yeah.
pestilence. So this horseman, by his description, it's more like conquest. And it's also more like the glory of war. The Red Horseman is about like the brutality, the slaughter, the viciousness. This one is like how great it is.
Yeah.
And actually, in many interpretations, this horseman is actually celebrated as a good thing. In fact, there's a particular popular interpretation that the White Horseman is Christ.
Whoa.
Conquering the lands, spreading the gospel, appearing as the word of God. Now, there's some pretty strong contradictions there, and
Sure.
and that's not a generally accepted thing, but it is a weirdly popular interpretation.
Weird.
The origin of interpreting the first horseman as Pestilence isn't clear, but it could be as late as the turn of the century,
Really?
as like the late 19th century, early 20th
It was
century.
just a rebrand?
Kind of. So it comes from like a biblical verse, which if I can find it here. So in the
You want to get up, you want to get down with the sickness?
yeah. Ooh, wah. So a couple of biblical translations from the New International Version and the Revised Standard Version include the word plague in connection to the horsemen as a group. And that quote is, they were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, famine, plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. But it's not clear. I mean, that is like them talking about the horsemen as a group. And so I think it's a relatively modern interpretation to kind of go like,
That's one of them.
one of them is this thing. So it's kind of interesting, especially because the old Greek translations of the Bible don't use the word plague at all. They actually use the word death. So pestilence is actually supposed to be like another form of death.
It seems like they didn't really flush out these horsemen when they first came out.
I mean, listen, I would say they needed like an editor.
Yeah, they needed a discovery session, I think.
Yeah, they needed a lore master.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so interesting. Like the pestilence one is like we sort of just put that on that horseman, but there's not a lot of reason to think he has anything to do with plague or whatever at all.
Weird.
Other than I guess that in war, through wound and stuff, disease is rampant.
Sure, yeah.
But that's like a stretch. It's like a leap of logic as opposed to being about spreading disease.
Weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
Kind of crazy.
Well,
Because we just take it for granted.
what?
That pestilence
Disease.
is one of the horsemen.
Yeah, I guess I never really even think about that, but there was a really great video game a few years ago that was all about the Four Horsemen. It was like Darksiders or something like that. It was
Oh,
good.
really?
Yeah.
that's
And you get to
kinda
play like a horseman.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it was rad. I liked it a lot. All right, well, that is Pestilence finally,
Baby.
because the next
Now
time,
let's talk about an episode that he doesn't appear in.
Yeah, it's about him, but more about like the people around him.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we will get into the episode, starting with the then, which is we're going all across the series with this one. We're getting Sam and Jessica.
Yeah.
Like, way
Remember her?
Yeah, get to see her all hot because she's on fire on a ceiling. We get to see the Croatoan virus the first time it showed up.
Yeah. Remember that guy?
That was not a guy; it's a thing.
Yeah. I just meant like, hey, that guy.
Oh, sure, man. Devil's in the details. Crowley, the introduction of Crowley.
Love Crowley.
Lucifer's showing up. Gabriel, and the Four Horsemen. There's a
lot has happened.
Yeah. Just even this season, but like we're getting sort of a touch base with like the full series that will
Totally.
all come to fruition in this episode.
Totally.
We then go to the now. We're at the labs of Nevius Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Their lab technicians are testing a new flu vaccine. And it's funny because this episode very much so, and like a thing that this series really gloms onto for the next bit is like about like corporate greed.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole season that's essentially like an anti-capitalist season of TV, which is very interesting.
I mean, it's of the time, I think, for sure. I think,
but also weirdly like modern because nothing changed and nothing went away and it's horrible. But It's interesting these two scientists are talking, but the one is like, can you believe they're like doing human trials on this new vaccine already or whatever? And the other one's like, I don't know. It's fun. Like one scientist is like, I don't know, I get paid. Who gives
It's
a
a
shit?
living.
And the other one is like, isn't there a moral implication to our work? And he's like, I don't know, I guess. Like that's the dynamic of that conversation, which I find funny.
I do find that really funny. What's ironic though is that they're talking about the swine flu,
Yeah.
which
Remember that?
yeah.
Remember when that was the worst thing we had to deal with?
I mean, this episode brings up a little bit of that kind of stuff throughout it that I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Weirdly like relevant visuals.
Yeah.
But what I think is interesting is also as of when this episode actually aired, it was about 3 weeks out from when they sort of like fixed swine flu.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was sort of over by the time this episode actually came
Well,
out.
yeah, I guess by the time it's a thing and then you write it and then you shoot it and then you finish editing
It's
it
still
and put it
relevant,
down. Yeah.
but like, yeah, I think that it's sort of like doesn't perfectly hit.
Yeah, swine flu was bad. And do you remember SARS?
Oh,
from
yeah.
even further back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Like,
The thing that I didn't put together until like partway into the pandemic is that COVID is like the CoV SARS something.
Yeah.
It's like, and I was like, oh shit, because I remember when SARS hit Toronto, which was one of the places that it hit pretty bad. But like, I still went to school and stuff.
This
like,
is what I mean.
It wasn't like I think I knew it was bad and people were getting sick and people were dying, but like life kept happening.
Yeah, it
And
didn't
then I was
feel
like, wait
the
a
same.
minute, but COVID is a SARS thing too. And I was like, well, what the shit? Like, I was like, we probably should have taken that one more seriously.
Isn't it funny, like in hindsight, because I'm just like, oh yeah, it's some disease, but like I'm fine. Like,
Well, and I was also like a kid, like a tween or whatever when that happened.
I remember.
I guess I would have been like a teenager
when
because
that,
then they did the Live 8 concerts.
Yes.
And they put it, so there was concerts that were happening simultaneously around the world. For those that don't remember Live 8, and they put them, they were like London, Johannesburg, Sydney, whatever, and they put one in Barrie, Ontario, and they did it because that was supposed to be part of like the Southern Ontario like SARS recovery. They like basically begged to get a concert. But they put it in Barrie because for some reason I guess they couldn't get a spot in Toronto because it was put together real last minute.
Was it was Live 8 about SARS?
No, but that was I don't think so. At least because I think it was meant to be like
an
live,
AIDS
like
thing, or?
live. Well, Live Aid was. I think it's all still supposed to be supporting Africa. I don't know if it was about SARS or if Ontario was just like, we just had a bad time of SARS. We need a bounce back.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And the Live 8 was like the thing they glommed onto.
Because I was just like, it is funny to be like, oh my god, there was this weird flu. Let's all get together.
Yeah. Yeah.
In hindsight now, like,
Yeah. COVID's over. Breathe into everyone's mouth.
yeah, I mean that is what's happening right now. I remember in my hometown there was a giant department store, Sears, and they had like they had the big sort of like lit up sign for Sears in the front, but the E had gone out.
So it said SARS?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Not intentionally, but
Yeah, of course.
yeah, it was. I remember as a kid being like, look, it is what it is right now.
God, you're cool.
I know. So we then see a security guard who shows up, who's actually a demon, and injects them with the Croatoan virus.
Okay.
And it's a sweet scene because he basically is. They're like, "Who's even running this experiment?" The security goes like, "I am." Fucking injects these two dudes.
Yeah, like he fucking like stabs a guy
Well,
in
he
the
injects
neck
the one
with
guy.
a syringe, knocks the other guy down, gets out of the lab, breaks the like the security thing so the door won't open. And then we don't see the other guy. Well, we kind of like you see his eyes kind of
They go red.
and then he like basically tears the other guy apart.
You see a classic
And there's
blood splatter.
a monkey screaming while it's happening.
Yeah, of course, like a zombie movie thing.
Yeah. It's very scary.
So there's a funny thing that you have to like very quickly see, but in that lab in this scene, there is a sign for herpexia on the wall.
Oh, is that the one
That Sam pretends
Gabriel made Sam do the
herpes drug that Sam had to do the ad for?
Yeah. Herpexia?
Yes.
Yeah.
So funny.
That's cute. That's fun.
That's our cold open. We get a classic blood splatter and everything.
Yeah, it's a good one. You go like, oh shit, it's a fuck. It's like we see an outbreak and contagion and stuff like that. It's like fuck.
Yeah, I got these signs I gotta put up.
No, sorry, you can't go in there. It's contagion territory.
Yeah.
You got anything else I gotta mark for contagion? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I ordered too many of these.
Yeah.
These
Anything,
decals.
While we're at it, any biohazardous issues?
Yeah.
Going on?
Do you know what? I'm just gonna be safe. I'm gonna slap one of these on every door. That way, if you biohazard in there, you're ready.
It's a biohazard, guys. They're back.
Yeah, we did it. Never say we don't listen to the fans.
That's right. We wrapped up the series.
We have to remember this when we finish Supernatural so we can have a big Avengers Endgame moment of all of our greatest creations coming together.
Do what Supernatural couldn't do because of COVID.
Yeah.
Everyone show back up.
On your left, glass shatters. Mr. Yamashiro walks through a broken mirror. Oh, God.
All right. So now we are at a hospital. Sam and Dean are visiting a clinic, and they've got face masks on. And I just had PTSD.
I didn't even clock it.
Oh, I was
just yeah, they're wearing masks. I didn't clock it that way. I was like, yeah, that's what people look like.
For me, I was like, oh my God, masks. Oh, God.
Yeah. So they're posing.
Get used to this, boys.
They're posing as CDC officials.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the doctor they're talking to is on late seasons of The Flash as the new police captain.
Oh, that's right. That's who that is. Yeah. Seen very little of her because I bailed on those series.
Yeah, she's the one that replaces Joe.
That's right. Yeah.
But
yeah, they're looking for some extreme reactions from this doctor.
Yeah, she's talking about God, it's swine flu, blah blah blah, and they're going, hey, anybody been rageful?
Yeah.
She's like, what? And they're like, nothing.
Yeah.
They play it so poorly.
Classic. You smell sulfur? You see any ghosts around?
I mean, come on, boys, you gotta be better than this.
So funny.
It is very funny though. She just goes, no, this is just bad swine flu. Most of these people will be out of here in a week, but we need vaccines. Can you do anything to speed that up? And they're like, we'll try.
Yeah. What's interesting though is one of the sick patients shown waiting in the ER is the store clerk from the end of the previous episode, where
really?
Pestilence sneezed on.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. A thing they didn't need to do, but I like the little connection.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that.
We then cut to the boys in the Impala. They have been chasing Pestilence, but are one step behind. A call to Bobby gets them heading east after more omens. We also get an old tech alert because Dean's got a BlackBerry Curve, and I was like,
yeah.
I had that fucking phone.
I had a BlackBerry.
The BlackBerry Curve, oh my God. I played so much of the Brick Breaker.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, BlackBerry.
Right? I know. I was like, holy shit. I was just like...
I went to Waterloo, too. They couldn't have been more proud of their association with Research in Motion.
I do remember getting that phone and the person I was way too young to have that phone. That phone is made for corporate.
But we all did. That's what happened. Everyone
know.
got that phone, even though it's are you the Secretary of Defense?
Yes.
Do you need unbreakable encryption? It's
yes.
No, I just gotta call my dad to pick me up.
Yeah.
We all got a fucking BlackBerry.
I'm 16. I need my emails.
It was super dumb.
It was, in hindsight.
Great technology, but they really overestimated the security of their market position, and they let other things like Apple and that just go well, we can offer kind of security, even if it technically wasn't as good as theirs.
Yeah.
And they got complacent at BlackBerry,
100%.
and they just were like, no one will ever touch us. And it's well, that's a stupid thing to say.
Yes.
And then now look at them. Now they're just a software company. They don't even really make hardware anymore.
No. They had a...
they were part of the tech boom in Waterloo, where I went to school.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Around where I grew up in Ontario. And, to their credit, they poured a bunch of money back into that university and to the tech scene. That's why there's a Google office in Kitchener, Ontario.
Yeah.
That's why it's home of all sorts of tech startups. I mean, I have complicated feelings about those because most of them are awful, but
yes.
there was a huge sort of like northern tech boom in Kitchener-Waterloo in Ontario because of BlackBerry.
100%.
Yeah.
I remember when they tried to put out a touchscreen phone.
Yeah.
Oh God, what a piece of shit that was.
It was, yeah. And their like tablet thing was
my God,
bad
that's
too.
right.
They poured a bunch of money into. They started the Institute for Quantum Computing, which
Really?
is up at the university. There's the Mike Lazaridis nanotech building at the Waterloo campus. Jim Balsillie, the other owner, at one point tried to buy the Pittsburgh Penguins and move them to Ontario.
Oh my God.
And that almost happened, but he was running his mouth too much, and it kind of, I think, pissed off some of the governors. And then the Perimeter Institute, which is like a internationally renowned like science and technology like think tank that's in Waterloo, again, all kind of on the backs of the reputation and money from BlackBerry.
That's crazy.
It totally transformed what that city is.
Wow.
In good ways and bad ways.
Wow.
But
but they get off the phone with Bobby, and suddenly Crowley appears in the Impala.
Hello, boys.
Good. It's a decent impression.
You got to keep it short. That's the key with impressions, is not to do more than a couple of words.
They attack him for sending them after Lucifer when the Colt wouldn't work.
Yeah, and he disappears.
Yeah, and they get out of the car, and he's just like, they keep trying to get him, and he keeps disappearing.
I know we've seen demons do that before, but I feel like he does it a lot.
Yeah.
A lot more than we've seen.
Yeah, because usually
the disappear trick is not a thing a lot of demons use.
No, and I think also maybe it's partly because he's more powerful, maybe.
Yeah, because he is like
we haven't gotten a ton of his
he's a pretty
background,
high up Crossroads demon.
He runs the Crossroads demons.
Yeah, from what we know of him so far.
Yeah, he was like, he was dating Lilith, I think, and
yeah, because wasn't that the thing where it's like, no, like I'm just a salesperson, you got to go see my boss or whatever, like that. Like other demons have said that. About
yes,
him. I think what we know about him,
he's the boss, and I think he was in a relationship with Lilith at some point. Yeah. He says he had no idea that the cult wouldn't work though, but can give them something that they do want.
Do you know what I like about this scene? Yeah, like. They pull over, they get out of the car, and he's like, hello, boys. And he's like, and Sam's like, you got some fucking nerve, but after what you did, we lost. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, why is he so angry? And then I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that like he told them it would work, and then it didn't.
I kind of like didn't, if for some reason, put it all together. I was like, why are they angry at Crowley? And
I know. I had that moment, too. And I was like,
oh, yeah. And I kind of was like, good on you, writers, for not forgetting how that whole thing kicked off. Yeah, because I did.
But yeah, he says he has no idea, but he knows that the boys are searching for Pestilence and the rings for the Four Horsemen,
right? And
he can help get them Pestilence.
Yes, yeah.
So reluctantly, Sam and Dean accompany Crowley to the house where he has been staying.
And Crowley says like they burned down my house and all this kind of bullshit. Like he's like, I'm persona non grata. Like the devil knows that I'm after him now. He's like, everything's looking for me, so I'm staying in this piece of shit.
Yeah, he gave the Colt to the Winchesters in an attempt to kill him. Like he did not know. He's just as like in a bad situation that they are.
Yeah.
So he has been hiding since he's been hiding in this like. It's like a cabin or something,
or just like a shitty house.
Yeah,
even, but yeah.
Crowley says that because they were like, "Well, how did you even find us? We protected ourselves, and we removed all the hex bags and all that." And he's like, "You forgot this one thing."
Well, no, they said we have hex bags, so we can't.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's what it was. Yeah. Yes, and he's like, "Yeah, but those don't work against this," which is a little coin
that he's like slipped into the car.
Yeah. And he's been tracking and eavesdropping. On the boys.
And he's like, oh, what I've heard.
I know. And I was trying to be like, what does that mean? It's like Dean banging in the back of the Impala.
Hell yeah.
But he knows, he says he doesn't actually know where Pestilence is.
But he knows the demon who does.
Yes. And he thinks that they can actually get him to help them.
Yeah. And this is all also on the heels of they're chasing Pestilence, and Sam is or Dean or someone says like, why is he just spreading swine flu?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the Croatoan virus
Yeah.
at? And they're like, it doesn't make sense. Like
Yeah.
there must, and they're like, well, we just, whatever it is, it's technically buying us some time. We gotta find him. And Sam is like, don't trust Crowley. And Dean's like, what else we got? Like, I think we have to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We then cut to a man named Brady having a board meeting at Nivius.
This guy looks like he got like a 70 in microeconomics in college, and then he was like, I'm kind of business minded.
Yeah, it's true. He is, he definitely got a business degree while on the football team or something. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
He's berating the senior management about getting this vaccine out.
Yeah.
We then later see that a member of that,
and the guy's like, "Oh, I could do. We're doing
yeah.
our best." He's like, "Do the best of someone better,"
which is a great line.
it's a pretty good line.
I know. I was like, "Fuck! I wish I could say that line." Anyways, later we see that same guy that he berated in that meeting.
Yeah.
Come into his office after being summoned.
Yeah.
And he basically the guy's like, I'm sorry, and he's like, hey, it's fine.
Brady's like, yeah, don't apologize. I need guys like you. And he's like, really? And he's like, yep.
Yeah, he's like it's a
his
cut.
throat.
Yeah, it's like you ready to be part of the cutthroat corporate world.
Yeah. Yeah, he says to this guy who was in a boardroom meeting, there's an opening in communications. And I was like, since when is communications in the boardroom? I was like, that's very clearly a step down, and this guy's pretending to be excited about it. As a communications person.
Yes. Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But Brady cuts the guy's throat and then uses his blood to communicate with Pestilence through a goblet. The Latin incantation that Brady uses is to contact Pestilence, which is it's basically dis manibus presens, whatever. It's a bunch of shit, but it basically translates to, of all of the present to hold fast to me, is presided over by the Lord of Pestilence, the hands of the gods.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and we haven't seen a good Blood Bowl phone
It's
call
been
in a while.
Yeah, it's a thing that even just later on in the series is kind of this might be the last time we ever see it.
Yeah, I think we saw it maybe last in season 3.
Yeah.
I think it's just we saw Meg do it, but I don't know that did we see Ruby do it?
This is what I mean. Pestilence is keen to get the virus released soon. As they get ready to go, we then go to Sam and Crowley and Dean, and Crowley's refusing to let Sam come with them.
Yeah, he's like, okay, we're ready to go. And then he's like, oh, hold on there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not invited. Whatever. And Sam's like, fucking what? And Crowley's like, all right, then I'll just fucking leave.
Yeah, good
and then
luck.
Dean's like, wait. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you. I believe him. Just stay here. We need this. And Sam's like, grumble, grumble, grumble.
He's really a scorned lover in this episode.
He sure is.
And he decides to go with Crowley. While Dean and Crowley are out, Sam calls Bobby. And it's funny because, he's kind of drunk. They're both sort of drinking over the phone together. It's kind of cute.
Yeah. There's a part of me that was like, I kind of liked that Sam just stay put, though. He didn't go after
For
them
once.
or, you know what I mean? I was like, is this growth?
I mean, after the previous episodes, too, there's, all of this, especially after getting Dean to not give himself up. There's a version of Sam, hopefully, that we see.
Yes.
Will the other seasons react that way? I don't know. But Sam asks Bobby, he's like, hey, remember when you were possessed?
Yeah, and you didn't kill Dean? And he's like, how did you do that? And Bobby's like, I don't really know. He's like, how did you get your hands back on the wheel? And Bobby's like,
why are you asking this?
Yeah, why are you asking? And Sam's like, let's play this out logically. And this is where we first hear of what the full plan is.
Yeah.
Sam is like, let's say we get all the rings and we open the cage. We just have to hope Lucifer falls into it. He's like, what if we open the cage and Lucifer leaps into it, with me. And Bobby's like, "Ugh, God damn it!
We just got
you
Dean to not do it."
self-sacrificing sons of bitches." And Sam is like, "Just hear me out, though. Like, you know, this could be it." And Bobby's like, I did it on like a podunk demon, and it was a fluke, and I have no idea how it happened. You think you're gonna overpower fucking Lucifer?
Yeah.
He's like,
you're not strong enough.
Yeah.
Like, no one is strong enough to do that.
it's like end of conversation. But that's the first time that we hear
That's right.
the plan.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then Dean and Crowley sit in the Impala outside the Nivius offices.
Yeah.
Dean begins to make a plan to get inside. But Crowley's just like, you can make things too complicated.
Crowley, well, because they see that there's security guards,
Yeah.
and Dean's like, ugh, demons. And Crowley's like, no, just people. The demons are all on the 12th floor. And Dean's like, okay, well, we got to figure this out. Then he looks, and Crowley's inside cutting the throats of the
I
people.
know.
He's like, come on. It's kind of funny.
It is sort of funny because, yeah, they can't, like, this is the one thing that they are, like, planning. It's very much like choosing the lesser of two evils, right? Like,
It's a good way of reinforcing that Crowley is still a demon, because, like, the boys have that very, like, we don't
no
kill
kill,
people.
yeah.
You know?
It's a complicated thing, right? Like,
Yes. Yeah, I like it, though. I think it works.
I do too. And he kills the security guard, and then Crowley is like, cool, elevator's right here.
Yeah,
he's
like,
up there.
Go on up, 12th floor. You're going to do great. Just do what I told you.
It's-
And Dean's like, what? And he's like, just trust me.
It's interesting because there's also this like ongoing thing with Crowley where he's just like, oh, I'm taking the easiest routes that I can. Like, I'm not putting myself out at all.
I mean, you know, Crowley looks out for number one.
Yeah.
He's a demon. He even says it later. He's like, well, that's what you get working with a demon.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
You almost can't blame him.
Yeah.
You know, we learn a lot about demons as the show goes on, but, like, demons are what they are.
Mm.
He kind of is, in many respects, the least of the potential evils. He's just selfish.
It's true. Yeah.
You know?
But he's also smart.
Very smart, very cunning,
Yeah.
you know?
So Crowley sends Dean up alone. Dean enters the office with Brady, which is funny because Brady is very much just like a distant boss who's like, yeah, what do you want?
Well, yeah, he's like, Dean Winchester. He does a lot of the demon, like, telekinesis stuff, like turns a chair around and goes like, what?
But very, like, they're really pushing the, like, corporate and, like, upper management vibe.
Yeah, which is funny in contrast to the Angels, too.
Yeah.
And also funny when we get into later seasons.
I know.
It's just I think it's just like a fun theme.
But also, like, clearly, maybe when you're, like, writing a show and you have to deal with, like, corporate America.
It's also and it's also like maybe an easy template to be like, and here's the hierarchy, and here's how, you know, like.
But also, I mean, based on especially what Kripke is doing right now, like, I feel like he also just has a bone to pick with corporate America.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But
Dean sits down, and Dean's like, listen, you know, word's gotten back to me that
you want to make a deal.
You want a deal because you want the Horseman rings back, and I got a couple of them, and you're gonna leave this fucking office if you ever want to get those rings. Blah blah blah. And Dean's all kind of cocky about it, and then Brady goes, "Why would I want the rings?"
Who told you?
He goes,
he goes, "Who told you that I wanted those rings?"
People,
folks, talk. You know,
and. Brady gets up and he calls the bluff, and he says, like, listen, I don't know where you got your information.
But even if I got these
war
rings,
and famine, they're like crippled husks without which is kind of an interesting image. They're crippled husks with the rings. Even if I could jam their rings back on their little bony fingers, it wouldn't help at this point.
Yeah.
So keep them. But I am interested in the guy that took them off the chessboard.
Which is funny because then he sees, again, like a corporate sort of terminology. He's like, oh, I'm going to take it out of your ass.
Yeah.
Which is like
is that a corporate terminology?
Well, it's like you see that in like he's not going to say, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to like come after the person who did it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And He beats the shit out of Jensen.
It's pretty intense.
Dean.
And then there's like a cut. Like we don't even see how it happens, and we see Dean like running away.
Yeah.
And he gets in the elevator, and Brady's like, Dean, where you go? Like it's pretty tense. There's an interesting shot where you see Dean get into the elevator, and then the shot moves around the elevator, and then we see him come out on a different floor. And it's I saw a similar behind the scenes thing. I don't know if this is how they did it. I'm just imagining, but you know that 2009 Star Trek, like the JJ one. There's a shot like that, and basically they have two sets that kind of like bisect the elevator, and so you shoot from one side, you see someone go in, then you kind of go around the elevator, you shoot just from the right angle, and the other side you don't see the first set. So you have both. You could have both things there and just a static elevator.
Oh wow!
And you could fake the thing. I don't know if that's what they did there, but that's what it felt like. The camera movement felt very deliberate.
I do wonder because they've done a camera movement like this one other time. Kim Manners did it, and what they had was just the person was just beneath where the camera's visual is, and then they pop up.
What do you mean?
So they actually like walked around, and then. Because like what we see is Brady pop up from behind.
Oh,
him.
that isn't even the thing I was talking about. Is the fact that there's a different floor outside when the elevator opens. I just meant that trick.
Oh, okay.
But yes, you're right. When we get to the lower floor and Dean walks out, I actually think there's a cut there, and then just Brady's behind him.
Oh, okay.
And pushes him out, and you're like shit. And then Crowley has a burlap sack with like a demon trap on it, puts it over Brady's head. And beats the shit out of him.
With a crowbar.
Like Joker style.
Yeah. It's kind of awesome.
And then Crowley's like, well, that was perfect. And Dean's like, what? He almost killed me. And he's like, yeah, but you know, all that like the ignorance, like you can't fake that. You went in with bad information. Brilliant performance.
And he's like, not for me.
And this is, I think, where Crowley says, it's what you get for working with a demon.
So good.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a bit about Brady for a minute here. So both Jensen Ackles and guest star Eric Johnson have had a starring role on Smallville.
Okay. Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Was he Booster Gold?
No, he's
Which
the
one was
boyfriend from Lana Lang.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh shit, he was.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Isn't that crazy? Jensen was also, of course, we know, considered for the role of Clark Kent, but Tom Welling was eventually cast. Coincidentally, they both have played the love interest of Lana Lang.
I mean, I like Jensen, but I don't know that he would have made a good Clark Kent.
No, not at all. Also, Eric Johnson plays a character named Brady in this episode, but oddly, Jensen Ackles used to play the character named Eric Brady on Days of Our Lives, which I think was funny because his name is Eric.
Oh,
his real name is Eric, and his last name, yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's cute.
So we now cut to the Impala as Crowley is carving a binding link into Brady's chest.
Yeah, and he says it'll stop him from smoking out or whatever. It traps him in the meat suit.
Oh my God, this is the... How much time do you spend just thinking about when you're going to put these things in?
Sam! You are gonna finish your dessert, and you are gonna like it!
It's the supernatural sandwich segment. We're talking about
Meat suits. Which you're turning into a discussion about...
Just hang on.
Okay.
Bear with me.
Uh-huh.
I want to talk a little bit about the Lady Gaga meat dress.
Oh my God. Wow, we're really stretching this.
Hang on, I said. They had to assemble that meat dress like backstage. It had never been assembled before.
It would have to be fresh meat, yeah.
It was fresh. They had to assemble it backstage on her for her to wear it. Now, they've tried to preserve it, but it was already starting to rot. Not by the time they were trying that. They've like bleached it and that, but like I don't know why they were trying to preserve it, but they were trying to.
It was an important moment, I guess. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about that just because it's a literal like meat suit.
Yes.
But what I really want to talk about is messy sandwich. A sandwich you end up wearing more of
Oh my God.
than you end up eating.
Oh my God.
What's your favorite messy sandwich? What gives you a meat suit,
Jesus Christ.
Richard?
I don't like messy sandwiches. I don't like sloppy joes.
Really? Like at all?
The closest that I'll get to it is not really a sandwich, but in the form of a sandwich, but you don't eat it like a sandwich, which
Okay.
is like a hot turkey sandwich.
Sure, with gravy.
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. And that looks like a sandwich, but you don't actually hold it.
Right.
My mother used to make those for me when I was a kid, and those are good.
Is it because they're messy you don't like them, or is it that I mean like sandwiches in general, or is it because the types of things that are messy sandwiches are things you're not into, like the chili kind of consistency of a sloppy joe?
It's kind of both, I think. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't really like. I mean, one, I don't like chili. I don't like tomato based sort of saucy stuff. So I don't like sloppy joes. I don't really like a messy sandwich because I also just don't like to make a mess. And so
here's an interesting fun fact about me is that I am like weirdly fastidious about food. I don't like to be messy.
I don't know if I knew that about you.
I am as a person disorganized, but I'm clean.
Sure.
I don't like being messy. I clean my fingers between chicken wings.
God, it's got to be hard to have a 4-year-old then.
It is. And I've tried not to pass too much of that onto her, but some of that she's already picked up. But I'm like, damn it.
It was funny. Last night, went over to your house, and we had ice cream sandwiches for dessert, and it was like a huge mess.
Yeah.
And then your daughter goes to like clean, and then comes back, immediately touches the like messy stuff again. And you're like, well, now you have to immediately go back and wash your hands.
I know. I clean my fingers between chicken wings.
Sure.
I am very like careful with ribs and stuff like. I don't like having stuff on my mouth. Or
Is that
my
part of the reason
hands.
why you constantly are trimming your beard back?
No, actually, but I just
Because that's part of the pain of having a big beard.
But the result of that, of me
Yes.
not liking to be messy, is
Yeah.
that if I have a messy sandwich, when I pick it up, I don't put it down.
Oh, I do the same thing. Yeah.
They're so messy
never put
that
down
I
messy
basically
food.
have to like 4-bite it.
Yeah.
And so I always look insane when I get like a big burger, like those like teriyaki burgers or whatever. They're very saucy or something. And I just be like, I just have to jam all of this into my
I do the
mouth.
same thing.
Because
That's what she
if
said.
you put it down, it loses its structural integrity. It's hard. You just end up with stuff everywhere. So yeah, I definitely eat, and then like I'll turn a sandwich or a burger, and like if stuff's coming out the back, I'll like lick it up or eat it up, and then turn it back around, try to eat some more. Like it's a real like fingers in the holes in the dam kind of situation.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, that's a real problem for me. But that's probably my favorite version of it is like a teriyaki burger.
Sure.
Where you get
love like a barbecue burger too, and
but yeah, like a burger with like some bacon, some ham, pineapple.
Sauce.
Again, very juicy, but then like sauce on it. Those things, I love them, but they're so fucking hard to eat.
yeah.
They're also like anything with coleslaw on it, real hard to eat. Real risk of that falling on you.
Mm-hmm.
I do my best to be very clean about it, but those are the sort of things I end up wearing.
I do find that like
I love a sloppy Joe, but not more than those other things.
I think also as like us being big guys, we're constantly worried about looking like messy.
Yeah, you can't be big and look messy.
Yes, you have to be as clean as possible when you're big.
Although, in fairness, I've always had the clean hang up.
Sure.
But yes, it's true. If you're big and messy, people are like, get it together, man.
Yeah, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the supernatural sandwich segment.
It was a meat suit.
A meat suit edition. Won't play an outro because you keep fucking whining like a baby.
Yeah. Well, make an outro and then we can get one.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
God, this is the whitest we've ever been. That was the sandwich segment.
There you go.
I do love that outro. I won't lie.
It's gonna be real sad when season 5's done.
I think we're fine. The binding.
It'll be sad. I will remember you.
Well, yeah. He better go big for a final sandwich segment, maybe. I mean.
Yeah, let's build up to a real swan song for the sandwich segment.
Yeah. Maybe we get a final outro and an intro.
What's a sandwich you'd throw into a hole?
I mean, if you consider my mouth a hole.
I was just trying to think for the.
No, I get what you're doing. Yeah, let's talk about swan sandwiches. Would you eat one?
Yeah. Pro, con.
Yeah, every time Reed meets a new sandwich, it's a real meat suit instead of like a meat cute.
Yeah.
Prima nausea.
Yeah, I came up with, if I get to have the first bite of everyone's meal, that's called prima nausea.
No. Let's tell them the real story, which was your daughter put a crown on your head last night, and then you said, "I am instilling a new law to your 4-year-old.
Yeah.
I get to eat all of your desserts."
Yes, yeah.
And she got really upset by that.
Yeah.
And then you said,
you said prima nocta, and then I said prima bita,
yes,
and then I was like, wait, prima nausea.
And we were like, God, we're good.
We're so funny. Let's retell this clumsily tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like most of our jokes.
Like the whole podcast.
Yeah. So the binding link that Crowley puts on Brady will stop the demon from leaving its meat suit.
And that symbol we've already seen inside that house where Crowley is staying, which I don't fully get that, because that feels like a place that feels like it would trap him.
Yeah, I don't really get it.
So I don't fully get it, or maybe it's slightly different, but it looks like the same symbol with that kind of fork thing at the top or whatever. So I don't totally understand if the context is it's supposed to keep demons out at Crowley's place, but it also feels like it would keep him in. If carving it into Brady traps him in.
Unless it just means that he can't smoke out of that room. He has to leave. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, he can clearly walk out, but then why even have, you know what I mean?
I don't really get it. Crowley tells Dean not to return to where Sam waits. He and Brady apparently have a history.
Yeah.
We don't really get to know what.
Dean stops the car and he's like, "You will tell me everything." And
yes.
Crowley's like, "Ugh."
But Dean refuses and does return to the house.
Yeah, they do come back. And Crowley says something to the effect of like, "For the record, I said this was a bad idea."
Yeah. And he basically, suddenly Sam sees them arrive. Sam goes downstairs to go meet them. And Crowley immediately stops him and is just like, just so that we're clear, this is the one fucking chance that we have. You're going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this. Go fuck it up now. And Sam's just like, what?
Yeah.
What is this whole thing about? He's like, I don't understand. And I just love Crowley's mentality of just being like, fucking Sam.
Yeah.
All right, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna mess this up for everybody?
It's true, yeah.
But Dean brings Brady in, and they take off the sort of hood over his head,
right?
And it's revealed that he was a close college friend of Sam's from Stanford. Because you even hear Sam starts talking before they take off the hood, and Brady's like, "Sam?"
It's interesting because I kind of forgotten this episode in general.
Yeah.
But also then when they're like they have history, I was like, is this a Meg reveal?
Yeah.
I was trying to think who is the demon or and then it was like, oh, it's not about the demon per se. It's about the meat suit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck, right, yeah. Then I was like, do we see that guy in the...
I know, I thought that too. We don't.
But I was like, that would be crazy.
That would.
Pretty cool, but...
So we find out that during his sophomore year, the meat suit at least, during the Thanksgiving break, he was possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
When he came back to school, he apparently went off the rails, partying and dropping out of pre-med, and Sam tried to help him. And he basically Sam spent time with this demon not knowing.
And Sam says, you introduced me to Jess. And you go oh, man. Yep. This growing thing of everything being a manipulation. Everything being part
Very
of the plan.
Truman-esque, yeah.
You know, this whole like team free will thing. They keep revealing these extra layers of it. It was always going to happen, baby.
Yep. So apparently Azazel...
Even Brady says like, well, oh, you were the favorite. You know?
That's right. Azazel had been concerned that Sam was losing his potential. And so Brady introduced Sam to Jess. And subsequently we find out
Yeah.
he was the one that murdered.
Yeah, he said Azazel like gave the order, but Brady killed Jess, which is a sort of Spider-Man 3, like, no, someone else killed Uncle Ben, sort of whatever.
Yeah, I know.
But it is interesting that they were like, oh, like, it's sort of sad that like, oh, Sam actually was on a good path.
Yeah.
So much so that the demons that
interfered
were like, he won't be
bad,
good like proper vessel material because he's making too many good choices.
Yeah, exactly.
So we gotta set this whole thing up that like mirrors his mom and whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, real fucked up.
Sam freaks out, but Dean drags him out of the room, and then so Crowley can step in.
Yeah.
Crowley goes and talks to Brady, telling him that Lucifer is going to kill all of the demons, but it doesn't persuade Brady to betray.
Yeah, I mean, because that's been Crowley's thing the whole time. Lucifer fucking hates us. You know, like we're less than nothing. Like he hates people, but people are still God's creation. What the fuck are we?
Yeah, we made by Lucifer, not him. Yeah,
you know. So he's like, he kind of gives that pitch, and then Brady goes, "Listen, I know how this goes. I'm kind of dead no matter what. So." I'd rather die on the winning side.
Yeah. So Crowley decides he's going to come up with another plan.
And he says, like, Crowley, Lucifer's after you. You betrayed him. There's nowhere to run. He's like, he'll never let you die. He's going to torture you for fucking ever. He's like, when he gets all the humans, when he wins, he's not going to let you die. You're going to pay for betraying him.
So Crowley leaves. As he's leaving, he's asking where Sam is, but he doesn't say that. He says for the first time,
yes,
he calls him Moose.
Yeah, he goes, "Where's your moose?" or whatever.
Love it. Oh, love it's the first time that we get a moose.
It is great. And that made me smile. I was like, "Oh, moose!"
I know. So Dean goes into the bathroom.
Yeah, Crowley says, like, I've got to go do a thing I didn't want to have to do. I have to go
put my neck out.
Put my neck out. I'm going to kick a whole hive of demons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sam locks Dean in the bathroom.
Yeah, and Sam does the old chair under the handle thing. It's fun. Like, Dean is like, it's kind of serious because he's like, fuck, Sam's going to go after Brady.
But he's kick the door.
But he's also just like, Sam, like that's the tone of voice he has. It's like, come on. It's a little weird, like it's not tense enough.
Because I think he's just like, ugh. I think they're probably still a little bit like, is Brady really what? Who even gives a shit? Like,
yeah.
And Sam confronts Brady, but he doesn't kill him.
Yeah, he's going to, and then he kind of has his change of heart, decides not to. But
Crowley returns. And he's killed...
all like disheveled, and he's like, oh, the day I've had.
Yeah, he's killed some demons, spreading the word that he and Brady are lovers in league against Satan.
Yeah, so basically he's put Brady in the position of the same torture as Crowley. Exactly. And Brady's like, oh, you son of a bitch.
It's a good move, yeah.
Crowley has this thing, and we again, because he's like the head of the Crossroads demons, like he says it early in the episode, he goes like, I've sold sin to saints for millennia, you think I can't break one lousy demon? And he talks about like the art of negotiating and that, and I kind of love I don't know, I love this thing that like Crowley has an actual skill he's bringing to the table, and part of what allows him to do it is that he's a demon with no scruples. But he's just like you can always win. You just gotta figure out what someone wants or what they need, and you either give it to them or take it from them. And that's how you get what you want out of them. I like setting that up about Crowley, that he has a very specific talent,
particular set of skills.
A very particular set of skills. Just looking for a demon, any demon.
Walking through the streets. Suddenly, a hellhound appears.
Yeah, and we realize that
you see the fear in Dean too, which is interesting.
Well, yeah, because Dean has been previously torn to shreds by one.
Yeah. But even Brady is terrified because he knows it's after him.
They hear it, yeah. And Crowley goes, "Oh shit! Remember that tracking device I told you about? They slipped one on me."
Yep.
And he goes
disappears.
Like, yeah, he goes, "See ya."
Yeah. He's like, wow. He's like,
and disappears.
Don't know what to do about this. I'm out of here.
And they're like, fuck, it's a hellhound. And the hellhound comes inside.
They scramble. Dean's shooting it with rock salt.
Yeah. And then, but we get Crowley. Crowley reappears. And this is one of my all-time favorite Crowley moments.
Really?
And also one of my favorite, like, modes of Crowley. I like when Crowley kind of has, like, where he's not being like quiet and like where he kind of is like a little like deranged.
Yeah.
And Crowley shows up and he goes like, I know a little something about hellhounds, Crossroads Demon and all, and mine's bigger. And he he has this like line reading that I love where he's like, boy, sick 'em.
Yeah, I love that.
Like his hellhound attacks the other hellhound, and I like the way they do this. Because essentially you're not looking at anything.
No, you're just hearing sounds.
But you're hearing tearing. You see blood. Blood even spatters on the
I love that.
camera. I love that effect. It's good. It's well done.
And as the hounds battle each other, Sam, Dean, and Crowley escape, taking Brady with them.
Yeah, they all get in the car. And Crowley goes, bet you 1,000 mine wins.
So good.
Yeah.
Brady finally reveals Pestilence whereabouts.
Yeah. Crowley looks at it and he goes like, yeah, it's good. Like Crowley's like, I definitely broke this guy.
Yeah. Crowley leaves Sam alone with Brady in an alley blocked by salt.
Yeah. Crowley goes to leave as they're pouring the salt line.
There's like a look.
And then Dean lets him pass and then Crowley disappears.
Yeah.
And then he finishes the salt line and
this is where we get that sweet line.
It's weird because like Dean's sort of indulging Sam here, and but Dean kind of goes like, they just don't get it, do they, Sammy? Like all these demons and monsters, like we're the ones they should be afraid of.
It's a great line,
which is a great line, but it's so weird in this context because Sam, you think he's going to torture Brady a bit, he kind of does, and then he just kills him.
Yeah,
fine, he's a demon, he's bad, get him out of there. But you look at Dean, and Dean's like, am I like indulging the demon-y bad parts of Sam? Like even Dean is like, this went from badass to like a mistake.
Yeah.
Not that they shouldn't have killed Brady, but like, when you indulge the vengeance sort of thing, like those aren't. You could even see it in Dean that he's like, ugh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel great about that.
But it is a sweet ass line.
Great line. It's like the Rorschach, like, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
We then cut to Bobby, who's on the phone with Rufus Turner, trying to find out where Death is going to be.
Yeah.
And he gets off the phone, and suddenly we see Crowley appear in his kitchen behind him.
I do like the idea that, like, it's not only the Winchesters working on this thing, that Bobby's got other people, because he's like, this is the last gambit.
Everybody needs to
all
be
hands on deck. Well, I guess all hands that don't want to kill Dean and Sam for starting the apocalypse.
Yes.
On deck.
So Crowley appears and tells Bobby that he can give him Death's whereabouts in exchange for something.
Yeah, he says, like, it's actually a spell that can find Death.
It's kind of embarrassing, actually.
He's like, I need a little mojo to get it going. And Bobby's like, my soul. And he goes, just a temporary loan. You'll get it right back.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't need to keep it. I just need...
Throughout this, too, which is funny, that Bobby just keeps shooting him, even though it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, and, Crowley's like, oh, I like this suit. And he's like,
He pulls out a bigger gun and shoots him with it. And it's just like, they both know it's not doing anything, but it's just pissing him off.
Yeah. It's kind of making Bobby feel better, which is funny.
I love it. I love it because Bobby's just like,
yeah,
you fucking demon.
But he's like, just a temporary loan. You'll get it right back.
Mm-hmm.
Scout's honor.
Yeah. And that is the end of the episode.
Yeah, there you go.
We don't know what Bobby's going to do.
Oh, my God.
What did you think about this episode?
Here's the thing. I love Crowley.
I know. He's the only reason why this episode exists, I think.
And I think he's the only thing in this episode that really works for me.
You don't like Brady?
he's fine.
I loved him.
I think he's fine, but he's also ultimately pretty inconsequential. Like, this is the
That's the whole point of like middle management.
But this is the depth. But yeah, but that's my point is that metaphor might work, but this episode doesn't need to be there. This is the definition of a filler episode. Because think of what happens next week. We have two, like, spoilers.
I know.
2 horsemen next week. It's like, just do this week. Like, you can even keep Brady in, but like, let's just fucking get to it.
Yeah.
And it's just filler.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff. I like exploring the relationship with Crowley a bit because we've really only seen him once.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that. I'm into that. I like the idea of, you know, a little bit more salt in the wound of Team Free Will. But does it need a full episode to breathe? Like, I actually don't think it does.
Yeah.
There's some good action. There's some funny moments. Like, I can't fault any of the pieces of like the stunt work or performances. I think actually Sam's good in this. You know, Dean's good in this.
Yeah.
There's some jokes. There's some serious. The episode's pretty good, but it's just like we're just spinning our tires.
Totally.
And I think there's it weighs it down a little bit. Like, we could be doing more while doing the things that this episode is executing well.
Totally.
And so I don't want to give it too low of a score because it is
solid.
It is pretty solid. But I think maybe I'll give it 3.5 suits I like.
Sure. I think that it is a largely like filler episode for sure. I don't disagree with that. I think that nothing really happens except for some decent performances. I think Crowley is really fun in this episode.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that the like acting is all really good. I actually really like Brady's performance. I think maybe the writing is not super strong for him, but I think that his performance is really done well. He plays that type of character so well.
Yeah.
I think that Sam like plays like he is lost his mind, but not to a degree that he would have been 3 seasons ago.
Sure.
Like if he had found this out then I think that it would have been a lot worse,
right? Especially
during like his blood issues and stuff like that. I think like he's relatively like learned his lesson, I think, right? Even when he does like lock Dean away, he doesn't kill Brady. He goes to and doesn't.
Yeah.
Like I think,
and then he lets Dean out.
He's grown, I think, in this episode, which is good. And I think that Bobby's really fun in this. It's just, I mean, even writing the notes for this episode, like the notes I wrote and the like summary that I wrote is like half the size it normally is. Like,
yeah, but and again, I get why the pieces are there, but we set up like we're on the trail of this like plague.
Yeah.
And why isn't the Croatoan out there? We set up the demon testing a thing, and then you like, I know we're gonna come like next episode we'll figure that out, but it's like, but why is it in this one?
I know.
It's I think where this episode falls down is it doesn't balance the adventure of the week with the season arc thing.
No, not at
it's
all.
It's out of proportion episode that way. Because it's season arc stuff, but they don't give you any of that. And then the of the week thing isn't really propelling you anywhere. So it's failing both things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that I think I probably agree with you. I think I'm probably going to give it the same ranking at this point. I'm going to give it 3.5 visions of a COVID future.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God.
All right. Well, those are our reviews. Before we end this episode, though, we've got a note from a fellow hunter.
Hey, I love this.
Another one from everyone's favorite keywords, Big Sis One-on-One.
Uh-oh.
Who writes to us saying,
I thought you were everyone's favorite keywords. I thought you were going to say a Finnish prime minister.
Emphasis on the Finnish. Goodness. Look her up.
and
Yep.
the eyes have it.
Nice.
Sorry.
I'd like to be a second. They write us and say, was re-listening to the episode, to this episode's podcast today, and you mentioned, oh yes, right, which episode was it? Because I wrote it in the subject matter and I forgot to write it down. The subject is, season 4, episode 11, Family Reunion.
Right.
Family Remains, sorry.
Right.
Family Remains. Was re-listening to this episode's podcast today, and you mentioned the night vision hang-up when the girl crawled in the basement with Danny and started eating the rat, and got me thinking.
Oh, right, yes. Oh, right. Yes. I remember now.
Yes.
Yeah.
During your lore of feral children, you mentioned that if a certain sense is deprived for most of one's life, the other senses can heighten. Then you mentioned that when Sam flashed the flashlight at her, she screamed and ran away.
Yeah.
So when I went to rewatch the episode, just a hypothesis, but during the basement part, the girl's eyes almost had a yellow eye shine, like some nocturnal animals with very large pupils, and her skin complexion indicates that she hasn't seen much sun. At the time, we don't know about her brother, but I wonder if it's supposed to suggest that feral children have developed night vision since they have been locked in a dark basement their whole lives. And we were watching Danny and the sisters through the brother's eyes. Huh.
You know what? I mean, in terms of maybe what the episode is trying to accomplish, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
As I recall, though, and this is me stretching a bit for the memory of it, the night vision we're presented with is like that green, like tech night vision.
Sure.
Which is probably not the way it looks if you have night vision.
But the best they can do. Yeah.
I understand. Yes. Yeah. It's what we've got. I think that's a very fair reading of it.
Just a thought, and they certainly didn't elaborate on it in the show. The uncle was a bit of a douche, though, LOL. Happy 100 episodes. Super excited to listen. Look forward to the 200th episode. 200? That's ridiculous. How will we get that far?
But season 5's almost done.
Yeah.
That's
it. Signed, Donna.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Donna. That's a really good perspective.
Yeah, I
consider.
think you're absolutely right. That's probably what
They were
thought
trying to.
process was there.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's the end of this episode. Let's continue this discussion on our Discord.
Yeah, if you go to patreon.com/ghostfacers for only $1 a month, you can join Angel Radio, our community Discord server. It's a lovely place. You meet some fun people. We all kind of share some SPN love over there. And it helps to support us.
And also, like Donna, if you have a note about an episode or you just want to say hello, you can send us an email to ghostfacerspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to us through our various social media platforms.
That's right. We are at Ghostfacers Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Also, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and whatever you get, whatever feed you sort of listen to us on. And while you're there, why don't you give us a 5-star review? With that 5-star review, we will read it on a future episode, but it also helps us out. So you want to do that. But if it's on an Apple Podcasts or something like Facebook, just make sure to send us a screenshot into one of the platforms so that we can read it on the show and we'll get notified. We also have some merch at ghostfacerspodcaststore.com.
That's right.
For all my lore whores and sandwich sluts.
One of you recently was interviewed like on video for like online and wore a lore horse shirt.
Really?
I'm not saying the person by name, but it's one of our friends on Angel Radio, and it's
I didn't know that.
very cool. Yeah, there's a couple of like screenshots up on the.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, if you liked what we talk about on here, you might like what we talk about on our other podcast.
That's right, the Dr. DC podcast. We talk about DC Comics. We answer listener questions. If you like how we talk about the lore of monsters and angels and demons and stuff like that over here, you might enjoy how we talk about the lore of superheroes and the cosmology of those stories over there.
That's right. That's it for this week. Say goodbye, bitch.
Jerk.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.